Hello, everyone. This is the Jenkins Platform SIG meeting. Today we're on May the 20th, 2025. And around the virtual table, we have Giovanni Vaccarino, Kenneth Sarno, Kevin Martins, Birajit, and myself, Bruno Virachtel. On the agenda, we'll talk about the change from JDK 17 to 21 in the Docker images. We'll talk about Java 25. We'll talk about the container image updates for the Jenkins controller and agents. We'll talk about the work in progress on images. And in the end, a few words about Jenkins and Android. Is there anything you would like to add to the agenda? No. Okay, and Mark has joined. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
So first thing first, switch default container to use Java 21. It's not a proposal anymore because it has already been implemented in the controller image. But so far, if I look carefully enough, nothing has been done yet for the SSH agent image and the inbound agent image. And I've seen here and there on Community Jenkins.io, on Reddit, on Twitter, and so on, people complaining about that banner, saying, "Oh, you're still using JDK 17. What a shame. It will be deprecated in March 2026, I guess." So people are slowly moving to Java 21, even if they don't use Docker, by the way. So that's something we have to progress on. And as far as I know, nobody has volunteered to do that kind of work for the SSH agent image and inbound agent image, but that's okay. Now for Java 25, yeah, I know it's still early. We won't see official release of Java 25 before October, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, we already have access to JDK early access releases thanks to Eclipse Temurin. And so we've started to work on that. But of course, the infra team is busy with lots of other tasks. So it's not a major project yet. Nonetheless, we have started. I say we, even if I'm not part of the infra team, but I do my chores. We have a task that exists in the help desk. And it's back and forth into triage and the week workflow. We'll see where it goes. No hurry for the time being, but be sure that we are working on that whenever we have time to. Because yes, of course, if we want our developers for the Jenkins core and the Jenkins plugin to evaluate JDK 25, we have to supply it within the Jenkins infrastructure, of course. So that's why we have to do that first of all. There is a task where we are trying to compile the top 250 plugins with JDK 25 in an automatic way. And the results are there, but they are false. I have to share it with you. My method to do so is not good at all. Mark, I think you told me a few weeks ago that you had a magic command line that could help to get rid of all the static analysis and maybe also get rid of a few plugins we depend on that won't compile with JDK 25. Is that right?
I found a command line set that let me compile. Of the 20 or so plugins that I maintain, I think I was able to compile and run tests for roughly half of them with Java 25. So it still failed some, but yes, there's a command line set, and I'll try to paste it in there when I dig it out. I needed to go back actually.
To go back.
Yeah, you on the Java 21 topic, if we could rewind.
Oh, sorry, Mark. I hadn't seen your hand phrased. Sorry, Mark. Let's go back to Java 21.
So in the chat, I pasted a link to a page that I wanted to have you open because I'm so proud and pleased that it's now up to date. It is more current. So stats.jenkins.io for the longest time had been showing data through October 2024, and then the data stopped.
Yeah.
Andrew Bayer, working with Damien Duporto, has updated the data so that we've got complete data through April 2024 and partial data in May. So if on the left-hand bar you click the hamburger menu, that menu there, JVMs,
and it doesn't go up to 2024. Let's do it again.
Interesting. Why doesn't yours?
Oh yeah, no, it's 2025. Even if it's written 2023 in there, it's
Right.
kind of
So,
strange, but
or
yeah.
you may have to change. Yeah, it's doing fancy automated layout stuff. But if you hover over to the far right, one less. Yeah, the 20. There we go. Okay, so in April, we see that we have 180,000 that are running Java 17 and Java 21. And we steadily are increasing the number of Java 21 users. Thankfully, we're also reducing the number of Java 11 and Java 8 users. Java 8 reduction isn't nearly as fast as we'd like, but it's making progress. So the lines continue to do what we wanted them to do, which is a good thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that, Mark. Yeah, it's a good thing because if you're running Java 8, it means that you're running a very old version of Jenkins
Right.
because
You're
we stopped
running it.
using Java 8 years ago.
Right. If you're running
This
a Jenkins version with very serious known vulnerabilities, you need to. That's a serious flawed choice. Thanks, Bruno. That's all I wanted to highlight is we have more data now.
Yeah, we can be proud of that, and that's a very good teamwork. Thanks to all the people involved. Where could I put this link? Stats are updated again. Progression. Oh, thank you, Mark. Would any of you have a question or comment about what we've just seen? Sorry. Nothing? Let's go then. Container image updates for the Jenkins controller. So in the last few weeks, no new LTS because it was released 3 weeks ago. We had the release candidate last week. And next week we'll have the release candidate. The real release next week on next Wednesday. So of course we don't get any Docker image for the release candidate. And once more, Chris Stern is the release lead. Now for the weeklies, I checked earlier, and frankly, apart from changing the version of Jenkins, there is nothing new in the releases of the Docker images. So update to Jenkins, and that's all. As for the code owners, it doesn't change anything for the end users. So now, for the container image updates for the Jenkins agent, we had just one new release for the SSH agent with only a patch to support. I say only, but no, sorry. I should say so because Kenneth, it's a work of heart and art. I would say it's a very long running PR that we took way too much time to evaluate, review, and merge, but it's finally done and it's part of the new release. So congrats on that work, Kenneth. I know you had found a workaround. So it was not mandatory, but yeah, we can be all proud it's finally there. Well done. As for the Docker agent now, we have seen just one new release also, and the only important change is the bump of the UB9 version. As for run update CLI once a day, it won't change much for the end user. It's just that sometimes you have a change in the Java version, for example, and it happens just the day after update CLI run. So it's pretty frustrating because you have to wait almost a week until you get your updates. And so people like Mark or me, for example, want to do something and enter the automatic updates manually, which is, that's why we now have update CLI run once a day. And it has proven useful so far. Now, the work in progress on images. So for the controller, none of them we don't have any PR except for the few automatic PRs done by the CLI, of course. But somehow the latest PRs aren't working. So it has nothing to do with update CLI work. I saw it somewhere earlier on a Matrix Gitter, but I just lost the link to the message. So Damien thinks he thinks he knows why it's failing, so it shouldn't be a big deal to solve it, but it has nothing to do with the updates themselves.
I don't know the failure.
There.
We need to look
Oh,
at it.
my bad. Thanks
no
for
problem.
coming, Damien.
But yet, someone need to look at it because it started to be worrying.
Oh. Okay, so where was I? Yep. So I was way too positive. Sorry about that. But I wasn't wrong when I was saying it has nothing to do with the data. Like, even the master branch doesn't compile anymore, right? Not compile. Some of the checks are failing, right? No, okay. I said stupid things. I see.
Some of the tests are failing, and they shouldn't be failing. Damien's
yeah.
right. We've got
There's-
this.
and all versions are failing.
Right, the master branch and
Yeah.
pull requests. So we've got an absolutely real failure and weird. The real failure has happened for days and weeks, at least on ci.jenkins.io. The failures are persisting since May the 12th, so 8+ days.
Mhm. Yep. Anything to add, Damien, about that?
No, someone need to have a look on it. See if we can reproduce locally the issue could be a good start that anyone can try. And if we can, then if we cannot, then that means there is something in the environment. And then from there, continue. But yeah, we need help on this one.
Okay, thank you, Damien.
It seems to be failing because, at least the one I see, seems to be failing because it's complaining about a new major version of NPM needed. That's an interesting failure mode. So yeah, more research needed.
Oh, NPM. Yeah, I was about to volunteer until you said NPM. Then I'm gone.
Don't hesitate to volunteer. It just means finding out what's failing and investigating.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Mark and Damien. As for the Docker agent, we still have a long-running PR, the add the Windows test on long path with Git. I think it's a work from Hervé. Yep, indeed. So it will stay in draft until we have a new Git for Windows that should fix long path. And I haven't heard back since then, so I guess it's not available yet. And the last one I saw, of course, I saw it because it's mine. It's attempt to add the support on Linux for JDK25 in the Docker builds configurations. And so far, if I'm not mistaken, it's failing for Windows. Even if I removed all my modifications for the Windows part. So I will have to investigate more. Yeah, test error in PowerShell. My bad. One day we'll learn how to deal with Windows, maybe. Now, for the Docker SSC agent, no current PR in draft or in review, nothing new. Before we turn to my hobby, would you have anything to add to the agenda? No. Oh, that would be a quick meeting then. Thank you. So 2 years ago, I had fun in experimenting with Android and Jenkins. So I started, of course, with building Android apps on Jenkins, which was a piece of cake, of course. And I also tried the other way around. Would we be able to get a Jenkins agent on an Android machine? And so 2 years ago, I said, yes, it's possible. It works thanks to something called Termux. And this year, so 2 years later, I tried to get a Jenkins controller running on Jenkins. And yes, it does work. It's a very niche subject. It's just exploratory. It won't be of any use to anybody. But who cares? Yeah, I wanted to have fun, and it's done now. The blog post is almost finished, and it still has to be reviewed, and yeah, a few things to sort out here and there. But we are progressing. It's not just, yes, we can do it. It's a step-by-step tutorial on how to do it. I really doubt anybody will try it, but anyhow, it's there. It does exist. And I had fun and learned a few things here and there, so why not? And that's all I had for you today. Any question, comment, something we should talk about before we wrap it up? No. Oh, that was fast, efficient. Thanks a lot for your time. The video should be available from 24 to 48 hours, and we'll see each other 2 weeks from now. Thank you, and bye-bye.